class yesterday, and the last told me that he covered the Jira. So for that, what we will do, we are not yet started with Jira. We are remaining with some concepts that we need to cover. So with no further delay, let's continue with our slides, and once we complete that, we will start with the Jira itself. Now, the day before yesterday, we covered till activity done in Scrum methodology. We have seen that what is product backlog, what is sprint retrospective, these sorts of information and terminology which people are using in a Scrum team. We have understand all of them. Now, another part of the Agile methodology is Kanban. Let me go to Paint. I told you that we have divided the Agile in 3 sections. First was Scrum. We covered that. Next is, we will go with what? We will go with Kanban. And the last one will be XP or Extreme Programming. Now, what things comes under the Kanban? We will see that. Let me make it in a full presentation mode. Okay. What is Kanban? According to definition, it's a Japanese word, means cards which you can see. It is flexible than Scrum. How it is flexible, we will see that also. In Scrum, sprint item cannot be added, whereas they can be added in Kanban. This is helpful when requirements change frequently. What does this mean? Also, we will see. Let's go through one by one the definition, then we will explain everything. There are no defined role in Kanban like PO, Scrum Master in development teams. We have seen that. Everything in a Scrum, more suitable for projects which require responsiveness toward changes. Okay, that's also good. There are no fixed length iteration. Tasks are calculated based on cycle times. It is the time needed to move a work item from to-do state to done state. Kanban gives importance on overlapping skill set. Now, all of these words and sentence, what does they mean? We will see. It's a Japanese words. We already know that. We understand that Kanban is Japanese word. Now it's obvious clear. What does it mean? It means cards, which you can see. How it looks, I will show you also that picture. It is more flexible than Scrum. How it is more flexible than Scrum? What do you have in Scrum? In Scrum, you have roles of product owner, Scrum Master, and team. Also, you have sprints for project starting, you have sprint backlogs, etc. Lots of formalities and documents, paperwork that you need to do for a project. But in Kanban, you don't have these things. You have what? You have directly start with the project. You will not go that he's a project owner, product owner, he's CEO, he's Scrum Master, he's a developer. Everyone is in here his own boss. Everyone there's one person who's leading them, and he is the person who is distributing the task between them. There is no specific rules in Kanban that people now follow it. That's why it's more flexible than Scrum. Next sentence says that in Scrum Sprint, items cannot be added, whereas they can be added in Kanban. This is helpful when the requirements change frequently. What does this mean? For example, whenever you're doing a project, let's say, I'm doing a project of what? This Paint software. I take this project from Microsoft, what I will do, I will create the sprint. Okay, this is my header. This is the area where I can draw something. This is the menus which I have in here. If I start this project with Scrum methodology, what I will do, I will make someone as a product owner in the company. I will assign a Scrum master. There will be dev team and testing team. And once the sprint starts, sprint of file menu, let's take as a file menu or home file menu. You cannot then add any extra functionality till this file menu complete. After this file menu complete, then you can ask for changes. But Kanban says what? Kanban says that during the development, during the development, any kind of changes, any kind of changes you can bring. What does it mean? You're developing a file menu at the middle of the projects. For what client says, Microsoft says, hey, add one extra functionality to file menu. If it was Scrum, you will tell them, no, sir, we cannot add it right now. We will add it once the sprint is finished after first release. But in Kanban, in the middle of the developing, you can say, okay, that's totally fine. I will add that also. This is the way and procedure of Kanban. And the meaning of that sentence is this. Now, what is the next line? There are no defined roles. I told you that we don't have a defined role in Kanban. Everyone is his own boss. More suitable for projects which require responsiveness toward changes. This Kanban methodology will be acquired or will be taken by those companies which they understand that clients will change a lot, bring a lots of changes, and they do understand that uh, client client is too double-minded and he don't know how to create his product. So that's why they select the Kanban methodology, but this will be very rare. People are not going to do this. This is a little bit risky in terms of what software development. Now the next thing is what? There are no fixed length iterations. Tasks are calculated based on cycle times. What does this mean? For example, you have developed file menu and you tell that this file menu I will develop in 12 days. You set a plan with yourself. But once the change is made in between these 12 days, like, okay, add one more, another file, the requirement of this will change from 12 to 18 day, or you can calculate how many times this new function will get so that you can add it to your project. Now, and each and every time when you change the requirement and functionality, the number of day will also increase in Kanban, which is very risky, a little bit risky, and does it in a view of financial obligation, financial statements inside a software company. Now, next is Kanban gives importance on overlapping skill set. Now, the words, the terminology of overlapping skill set, what does this mean? Let's take an example in here. Overlapping skill set means overlapping skill set. What does this mean? This means this person XYZ. He's the developer. He's developer and he understands languages like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP, like MySQL, and etc. Now, beside that, what Kanban overlapping skill set means the expectation of Kanban that this person should also familiar with testing technologies like Selenium, TestNG, like other tools of what software testing. Now he cannot work at the same time on both technologies, but the expectation of overlapping skill set in Kanban is that he should understand this also. When the moment reach that they face a lack of testers, this person switch from development team to testing team and start working with the testers and help them to test the software or project. And also as well, vice versa is also happening when they feel a lack of developer, so this person again can jump back in here and start working in development section. This is the concept of overlapping skill set. Once if you hear about the overlapping skill set, you just keep in mind that this means that a person can do the both tasks, yeah, also development and also a testing part. Now this was all about what Kanban in the slide. Now let's see. Murtaza, still there is a voice problem? That's still there. Okay. Okay, I don't know what's the problem. I fixed it also. I don't think so that this might be a hardware issue. Okay, let me check it once. Give me a moment, guys. I hope that now it's good. Now must you realize it fine? Still my voice is breaking. Okay, still the same. What about now? Is it now fine? I don't know what's the issue with this. I even fixed it. Is that person didn't fix it properly. Let's pause. Okay, now what happens is the difference between Kanban and Scrum. In Kanban, you have what? You have fixed number, no fixed duration. It means that each and every time when the requirement changes, the time duration also change. This means what? This means that the number of days or deadline of the project is not obvious. But in sprint and scrum, what we have sprints or iteration fixed in duration. I told you that scrum focuses on 1 week, 2 week, and 4 week, maximum is 4 week sprint duration that they will divide the task and start working on that. Next, we have work is tracked using Kanban board. But in Scrum, we have what? Work is tracked and planned using a backlog sheet. There is a whole difference between Kanban board and backlog sheet. Backlog sheet and everything will be we will use it through Jira software. But Kanban board is like a kind of a whiteboard inside the company or inside that office which they are developing that project, and they will do what, whenever the task they are started working on that, they will write it on a small piece of paper like a short note, sticky notes, and they will put it in section that, hey, I started this work, this will be in progress, and this task is ended. That's like this. Now in Kanban, we have no specific roles. But in Scrum, we have what? We have three roles: product owner, Scrum master, and development teams. In Kanban, it is flexible, changes are allowed any moment. But in Scrum, we don't follow like this. No changes are allowed once a sprint is started. For that, you need to do what? You need to just complete this sprint. After that, you can add the changes. But during the development, you cannot change what? You cannot change the sprint. You cannot stop the sprint and get the changes. Okay, this was all about Kanban with Scrum. Now let's see the next slide. Okay, guys, till this point, do you guys have any question? Any confusing point? Anything which you don't understand and you want me to explain it again? Okay. Now the next concept that we have is what, guys? We have extreme programming. What is this extreme programming? Or short form for that is XP. It's a way or methodology that people will develop for those projects which is they want to try it for the first time. Like, let's take an example of a Chat GPT is an AI software that previously people doesn't have any experience of that, but nowadays people are using it for developing the Chat GPT. Most of the time for people will do that, will select an extreme programming methodology, because in this methodology you will do what? You will research, you will documentate it, and you will develop that section. Again, you will do the research, you will document it, and you will do what? You will develop it. Like this processes will start like this. You will do the research and you will do the development. Research, development, research, development. This will goes like this. Let's take an example of an Apple Watch. Let's say Apple Watch series want to add that they can track your heartbeats, or they can predict that heart attack will come if you don't follow this diet, or if you don't exercise. These sorts of things they want to add in their Apple Watch so that the customers should buy it. But now in here, it's a big challenge. The developers of the Apple will go and sit with the doctors and heart surgeons that, hey, what kind of the possible ages will come that a person could be in an area of a heart attack. So they will explain to them that heart attacks is like this. First sign of the heart attack is this, second sign is this, and the third stage, once this reach, so you will definitely a heart attack will come to you. So they will note everything, they will research on top of that, and they will study the hormones and neurons of the body of a human. And after that, they will develop that kind of software so that they can keep the track of our heartbeat in there. A smartwatch should understand that what's going on inside our body. So this is called the extreme programming concept. So that if something you want to bring it new in this world, so you will definitely go with the extreme programming technique. Now this was all about extreme programming. Next, we have acceptance criteria. What does this mean? Criteria defines the functionality, behavior, and performance required by a feature. so that can be accepted by the product owner. It defines what is to be done so that the developer knows when a user story is complete. What does this mean? After each sprint completed in 4 weeks, we can name it as a release. A product owner will review your software, will review your what? Review your work of development team, review the work of development team. And on basis of that, product owner, because the product owner understand the whole application and he knows what the client actually needed, so he will definitely review it. And if there is a problem inside the development section, so the product owner definitely give a feedback that, hey, you need to do it like this so that we can get the satisfaction of the client. At that time, it is the moment that developer understand that, hey, whether this task is completed or not. If it is accepted by the product owner, so it means that section of the project is successfully completed. This is called acceptance criteria. Acceptance criteria is nothing but the product owner is the person who can check the system and give the approval that whether it's accepted or denied. That's all. Now let's see advantage and disadvantage of Agile. Advantage of Agile is what? First, customer continuously get a look and feel of the project progress at the end of each iteration. What does this mean? The moment you start working on sprints, when the first sprint is started, you will do it. After the month, when it is complete, you will ask the client to come and check it. This is called that client will get what? Continuously get a look and feel of the project progress. He will understand, okay, in this month they complete the file menu. Okay, next month they will complete the edit menu. This is the thing that we can get the satisfaction of the client. Next is what? Development teams are quite responsive to changing requirements and can accommodate changes easily. What does this mean? This means, guys, that whenever the iteration in sprint is finished, they will do what? They will definitely start what? Start ask for the clients that, hey, do you want any kind of changes? Like they will allow only the client to do the 30% changes, not more than 30%. Because if this percentages go more than 30%, then the cost and budget of the project will also change. That's why till 30% they are okay, the Scrum team. They don't want to argue with the customer, so they will bring a 30% changes. Next is there is a constant two-way communication which keeps the customer involved. Thus, everyone has a clear visibility of the project progress. What does this mean is that each and every time when they are developing a project, they will have a communication. If it might be every week, it might be every month, they have communication with the client so that both of them can feel and get the progress work. But now what are the disadvantages? The disadvantages are comprehensive documentation is not prepared. What this means? They will not actually provide the actual documentation to client. Those documentation will be kept with the what? With the Scrum team. And they will draw and format it in a way that they can understand. They will not give a comprehensive documents that, hey, this is the document of your project. If you feel that you don't want to work with us, you can give that documents to any other company or development team, they can develop it. No, this is not the case. They will not give a proper comprehensive documentation. Next is sometimes requirements are not crystal clear, thus the team needed to incorporate many changes and it is difficult to gauge the end of the result. What does this mean? most of the time client don't understand that what is actually his requirement and what he need from the system. So that's why developers, this is a big headache for the developers to understand the client's requirement. So for that, they will they will do what they will make the cost of the projects higher, so that they don't want to lose anything according to financial need. So that's why this sometimes the requirement, if the requirement is not crystal clear for us, so this will be a big headache for a Scrum team. But these sorts of problems or disadvantages you will not see in Kanban. That's all for Scrum. In Kanban, extreme programming, we have seen the methodology of Agile and everything which we have discovered. Now, till this point, do you have any question, any suggestion, guys? I hope that my mic is still working fine. It is not breaking my voice. Now we will go with the STLC. What does this STLC stands for? It stands for Software Testing Life Cycle. It's a process used to test a software and ensure what? And ensure the quality standards which are met. Tests are carried out systematically over several phases. During the product development phase of the STLC may be performed multiple times until a product is deemed suitable for a release. Now, what does this mean? Same like we have a flow inside what? Inside software development life cycle, we have flow in STLC, software testing life cycle. First stage is the testing stage or testing plan stage. That whenever a project is coming, the people of the development team will create FRD. From what? FRD from the BRD. Now from this FRD, the testing team will create their what? Their plan. According to that FRD, they will go and create the test plan, that what kind of testing they will do on the system. Next is what? Next is the test analysis. They will analyze the tests, whatever test plan they have written and they have planned for that, they will do what? They will analyze it. Analyze it where? That, hey, okay, if we want to do this XYZ method testing, so what kind of the challenges we will be facing, what kind of the problems will come into in the way of us, what kind of the roadblocks we will have, each of them will be analyzed by a leaders or seniors. Next step is what? The test design. Okay, now you have test plan and test analysis. The next step is to do the test design. Okay, which technology and terminology and methods you're gonna use in this test case? This is the test design. That from where you need to start, from until where you get finish and you reach to end. The next thing is the construction. Construction means now this part is also writing the script. Writing the script. Scripts means writing the code. Script code for the testing of a system. Next is what? Next is testing cycles. Testing cycles means what? You have multiple test cycles. For example, you have seen a problems and file menu of a pent. You will do what? You will report it to developer. Developer will fix that and tell you that, hey, it is fixed. You can check it. You will do again the testing. If the test is passed, so you will go to the where you will go to the finals testing. If the testing is not passed, you will redirect it back to who? To developer, that hey, this part is again not working, you have to check it. Now after that, we have final test. In final test, when you pass each file menu or functions from a testing cycle, then you at the end you will do a final testing all over all the projects. When this testing is done, so you will do what? From your side, the project is completed. Now we have post implementation. Post implementation means what? Before the softwares go to the client hand or production, you will have a temporary production server, so that you have a small version of that software limited, and you bring peoples from the outside. You will teach them how to use a system, and you will ask them, hey, now you should test the system as a user. Or instead, most of the company will do it on their cloud employees that test the system and gives us the post what gives us the feedbacks, that whether it's good or bad. Now this means that pre-releasing is most meaning the meaning of the post implementation. It means that you will test a software on limited number of peoples. You will bring them inside the company, you will ask them to test the software. This is called post implementation. Now till this point, do you have any questions regarding to this STLC? What are the test phases, test plans? It starts from test plan, test analysis, test design, construction, testing cycles, final testing, and post implementation. Okay, we will do what? We will take a 10 minutes break for that. Uh, let's take a 10-minute break, and after 10 minutes, we will resume again. Let me now pause the recording. Okay, till this point in STLC, do you have any question? Do you want me to repeat it again? These steps? Any question in this STLC? Okay, Nargis says yes. Nargis, what's your question? Unmute yourself and ask your question. Nargis, what's your question? Am I audible to you, Nargis? You guys don't have any question? Then okay, let's proceed. Now in test plan, guys, we have some sort of other information that we need to cover. The test plan conveys how the test will be performed. This include the defining the test objective, test approaches, test tools, test environment, test schedule, and test responsibility and composition. Every step and details that we want to cover, I will cover it. Now look at the diagram and see. Okay, I guess you want me to repeat it again. Okay, no worries. What we have, guys, in STLC, software lifecycle testing lifecycle, is that for like in SDLC we have a life cycle of it will start from here until here. Now in STLC, in software testing, also we have that flow. First of all, they will create a test plan. Now this test plan created on basis of what? On the basis of that FRD, functional requirement documents, which development team creates from BRD, business requirement documents. And that BRD is written by who? By business analyst people, which they get the requirement from the clients. Now from this EFRD, they will create their test plans. They after that they will do what? They will do their test analysis, that whether this test which we selected, the methods, the things that we are going to cover, the algorithms, it is working or no. What kind of the challenges is we will be facing. Next is the test design. Test design does what? Test design you will cover technological way, what kind of technology you will using, how many peoples, how the test case should be started, how the test will be implemented. These sorts of information will be in test design. The next part is the construction part. Construction parts means when you plan for the testing and you are an automation engineer. For that, you need to write a code or script in one of the programming languages. So for that, you need what? You need to code it. And that coding is nothing but a construction. The next thing is testing cycles. Once you test any particular function of the website, desktop application, if it gives you an error, you will do what? You will redirect it back to the developer. Hey, this section of the code is not working fine. Please check it and correct it and resend it back to me. Once the developer complete that task, he will ask the development team that, hey, this task is complete, please recheck it. If it is working fine, so this will go to final testing stage. If it is not working, so this cycle of redirecting to developer will repeat again and again until the tester get the result. Now we have final testing. What is final testing? Final testing is the step where you will do a final check the whole application. That's all. Now we have the last stage, post-implementation. Post-implementation is the way or procedure that inside the company, a testing team will bring a number of employees and ask them to please test the system manually and give us a feedback that whether it is user friendly or not, whether it's working fine or not. This releasing of a whole project, initial release, but not a complete release to other all of the clients for the all of the customers of the client, but for a limited number of peoples, maybe 20 to 25, that they can check and they can use the system and see that what kind of challenges they will face. This is called a post implementation and software testing life cycle. I hope that Nargis, you got the points. Now we understand, Nargis? Now as STLC, I short it in this format. Like what kind of things we will have. Now in previous slide, everything covers in details, but in this thing, in this situation, what I did, I divided into three sections because mostly the testing team will work on these three sections. First section is which section, guys? First section is the test plan section, and this what you have to, how the testing is done for the project, how many resources need to test app, how much time, risk, and etc. Everything will be written in the document of the test plan. Next step is the test design. Inside test design, I divide it into two categories. First is test scenarios, and next is the test case. What is the difference between them? We will see that in next slide. Now, the last is the test execution, that once you complete the project of the testing, you write the script, you need to execute that script or code. So for that, you need to check it. Now let's focus on this area. You understand test plan and test execution. The main important thing is this test scenario and test case. Let's say, for example, I will assign, let me assign let's say facebook.com, Facebook login. I will click on this Facebook login and I would say, and here, suppose you're a tester, you're a team tester, so you need to do what? You need to do some sort of testing. And here, I will tell you, hey, test the Facebook login page. Test the Facebook login page. And here, the word test that I'm telling you, let's see. Test scenario and test case. What is the difference? Yes. The moment that I told you test Facebook login page, this is your test scenario. I didn't give the full detail to you. That I just told you that test the Facebook login page. That's all. This is the general information that I can provide. Now, for the testing the Facebook login page, you will search Facebook, you will put some information in the username, you will put some password, you will click on login button. Now, each and everything that you have done manually, you have whenever you write it, each and every step that you have done manually, you have, when you write it in this format, that open the browser, next step, go to facebook.com. The next step, enter a valid username. Next, enter a password. Next, click on login button, and the moment you log in, now you will see you will use the feedback that user is on landing page of Facebook, on landing page of FB Facebook. Now you give details for each step. You opened, you go to Facebook, you enter user valid name, password, click on login, and now you're on landing page. The moment that you give details on this test scenario, this is called a test case. Now you understand what is the difference between test scenario and test case. Test scenario, you will talk in general. You will not give a full detail that you should do this, you should do that. You will say that, hey, test a Facebook login page. But the moment when you give that details for that you should go there, you should do this, you should do that, you should do this, this is called a test case. This was the biggest difference. Now, is there any question till this point? Any difference between, you understand the difference between test scenario and test case, that what are the difference and what you should do And then when someone asks you what is test scenario and what is test case, you can definitely answer it. Any question till this point? Okay, excellent. Aisha says no question. Okay, Mariam also says no. She understand it. Now we have what? And here I just mentioned that test execution is nothing but what? Where is my pen? Test execution is nothing but means that we test the application by the above step that we have mentioned. The above step is what? This test scenario and test case that we have mentioned in here. So now next what we have, what is software testing, principle of software testing, types of testing, what kind of testing we have, these all sorts of information we will see. Then we will see what is defect tracking reports, what is traceability metrics, and that's all. We will, once we reach to the what is traceability metrics, we will be ended up with the what? With the general QA concept. Now, till this point, if you don't have any questions or suggestion, so that's all for today, class. I will end it up the session right in here. So let me pause the recording as well.